All right, let's just jump right into this. Picture this for a second, one of the most advanced, most expensive, most feared fighter jets ever built. A stealth machine that's supposed to be completely untouchable gets hit. In the middle of a war zone. And I'm not talking about a simulation, I'm talking about a real US F-35 on an actual combat mission, forced to make an emergency landing in very, very hostile territory.
And that right there is the massive question at the heart of all of this. It's what defense experts all over the world are asking themselves right now. Did Iran's air defenses actually manage to tag this supposedly invisible jet? Or is there something else going on here? Because, the answer could literally change the rulebook on modern air combat.
And the stakes here, well, they couldn't be higher. We're talking about an asset worth $100 million. But really, it's so much more than the price tag. That number represents a country's technological edge, decades of bleeding-edge research, and the very symbol of air superiority. Losing one isn't just a hit to the budget. It's a huge strategic and psychological blow.
Okay, so let's cut through all the noise for a second. Here's the one thing we know for a fact. The piece of this puzzle that started this whole firestorm, an F-35 was flying a mission. Something went critically wrong, and it had to make an emergency landing. It's the where and the why that turned this from just a mechanical failure into a massive international incident. So to really get why this is such a big deal, we need to take a step back and understand what exactly the F-35 is. Because this isn't just another plane, and the tech we're talking about here is truly on another level. Yeah, this is where you have to understand. The whole idea of a fighter jet kind of gets thrown out the window. The F-35, made by Lockheed Martin, isn't just about going fast and turning hard. It's all about information. It's basically a sensor, a network hub, and a quarterback for the entire battlefield, all wrapped up in a stealthy package.
In this whole way of thinking, it's wrapped up in this huge concept called fifth-generation warfare. Look, this isn't just a simple upgrade, it's a completely new playbook. The entire goal is to win the fight before the other guy even knows the fight has started. It's about seeing absolutely everything while being seen by basically nothing. And the F-35, it's the poster child for this entire philosophy.
So how does it pull this off? Well, it's designed to be a phantom, right? To slip past enemy radar like it's not even there, to track a whole bunch of threats from insane distances, and then take them out, all while staying hidden. These are the capabilities that make it so ridiculously valuable, and what makes the idea of it getting hit so hard to believe. Okay, so you've got this ghost of a jet in your mind, right? Now, we step into the fog of war. And this is where things get really murky, and we have to start picking apart what's real and what's just noise. All right, so on one hand, you have Iran's claim. They're saying they successfully challenged this super advanced aircraft. Pretty bold, right? Then, on the other hand, you have what we can actually verify. The jet wasn't shot down, the pilot is okay, but the specific details of what actually happened are still totally classified. This is the core of the problem. A big claim of victory versus a total wall of silence. And that's the bottom line, isn't it? What are we really looking at here? Is this a genuine military breakthrough, a real chink in the armor of Western tech? Or is this just an absolutely brilliant piece of propaganda, perfectly timed to exploit a moment of crisis for a huge psychological win? So here's the kicker. In some ways, it almost doesn't matter what actually happened over Iran. Because just the possibility, just the story itself, has huge implications for the future of stealth and what air power even means. Which leads to the question I'm sure you're thinking right now. How in the world could an invisible jet get hit in the first place? I mean, if this tech is so game-changing, how is it even possible? How do you hit a ghost? Well, the answer's a bit complicated, but it basically comes down to a few things. First off, and this is super important, stealth is not Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. It just makes the jet incredibly difficult to see on radar, which shrinks the window of time you have to shoot it. Second, you've got something called saturation attacks. Basically, if you throw enough stuff into the air, drones, missiles, whatever, you might get a lucky hit, even on something you can barely see. And finally, even a stealth jet has moments when it's vulnerable, like when it has to open its weapons bay doors. For a split second, its radar signature gets bigger. It's a tiny, tiny window, but maybe, just maybe, it's enough. So, at the end of the day, you're left with two very different but very serious outcomes. If the Iranians are telling the truth, then wow, the whole idea that stealth jets rule the skies is suddenly on shaky ground. But even if it's a total lie, they still get this massive propaganda win. They've planted a seed of doubt. And in this kind of warfare, perception can be just as powerful as reality. And that right there is why this is so much more than just a military story. Because a chink in the F-35's armor, whether it's real or just perceived, that sends ripples across the entire globe. It makes your enemies bolder and makes your friends nervous. It's a single event that has the power to shake up the entire geopolitical chessboard.
So that's where we are, staring at this huge question. Was this a masterstroke of information warfare, a propaganda victory that brilliantly played on a moment of weakness? Or are we actually seeing the first real sign that the era of untouchable air power is starting to close? We don't have the full picture yet, but one thing's for sure, the game has definitely changed.
Subscribe to my channel.